It's that ubiquitous item of women's lingerie, the brassiere, that first drew our attention to graphic designer Cheree Berry.
A, B, and C cup for the size bra sizing.
We caught up with Berry in November of 2006 at the Phillips Line Gallery in downtown St. Louis. She was setting the stage for a party to celebrate the publication of her book on the history of bras, a pop-up book to be exact.
The bra book was my actual thesis project when I was in my last year at WashU with the BFA program. And so luckily, most of the work had been complete because when I graduated, I had a complete dummy mock-up, very similar to the one that was published, although about 2/3 of the content had to come out because pop-up books are really expensive to make. They require a lot of handwork, a lot of paper cost.
The fact that Berry took a sometimes mundane, sometimes alluring staple of the female wardrobe, mixed it with an old-fashioned bookmaking technique, and created something whimsically fresh is no surprise once you see how she makes her living.
Love and marriage go together like a horse and carriage.
Berry makes custom wedding invitations and announcements of all sorts. And they are not your grandma's black-on-cream invitations either. From subdued to ornate, bold or funky, they are as individual as each of Berry's clients.
I'd say about half of my brides come to me and kind of know exactly what they want, and that's really great and bad at the same time, because then you have that challenge of really creating what is exactly in their head, but that's fun because then they have a vision and it's challenging, and those are usually the clients that send me certain swipe or the inspiration, which is really helpful. And then I have the brides that are just like, this is where I'm getting married, these are my colors, and just, have at it. And that's also challenging though, because, you're not really sure kind of what's in their head, but they're always, I always send at least 2 to 3 options for everything.
Berry was raised in Bon Terre, Missouri, the second of 3 girls. She credits her mother with nurturing her artistic imagination.
She'd always, inspired us by keeping art supplies around the house, markers or whatever. And so I guess I just somehow picked that up and just started at an early age doing lots of that. I loved making greeting cards, or my grandparents are sick, get well soon, like oversized cards with like cut out flowers from construction paper, almost 3-dimensional cards.
I always cringed when somebody asked her to do a project, because it meant that I made how many trips to Walmart and that sort of thing in order to get all the materials. Other people could just make something on a poster, but hers had to be 3D or 4D or whatever, and they were always real exciting, and they were really fun when she got done. But I thought, oh my goodness.
Berry started her college education at the University of Missouri-Columbia. Her intention was to become a journalist, but she found she missed making art so much she transferred here, Washington University, to study graphic design. After she graduated in 2000, Berry spent 6 years in New York. For 4 of those years, she worked for designer Kate Spade, who by sheer coincidence is also a Missouri native. Cheree Berry Paper was launched in January of 2006. She runs her business out of a studio in the Central West End.
For the clients that do
Through clients she obtained while still in New York and word of mouth, Berry has been busy from the start, and she's benefited from an evolution in the high-end sector of the wedding industry. The wedding invitation is neither the beginning nor the end of what brides-to-be expect these days.
Save the dates are just a huge business, because with people being so busy and having so many weddings to attend, you really need to send a card out to let people know to save the date.
In the case of what are known as destination weddings, brides want booklets complete with transportation and hotel information, an itinerary of wedding-related events, and more. There may even be separate invitations for each activity, from welcoming the guests to after the bride and groom take the plunge, bidding the guests farewell.
And then thank you cards. And then another thing that's been really popular is with summer brides, they want to send out a Christmas card. So again, I've been doing lots of custom Christmas or holiday cards that tie in their look of their monogram or the look from their invitation with a picture. And then the babies come. So then the baby announcements.
As for Berry's book, Hurrah for the Bra, it did well enough to go into a second printing within a few months of its initial publication. She considered starting another book, but the demand for Berry's skills as a stationer has prevented that for the time being. Berry also sees herself designing clothing down the road. But the love of paper she's had since childhood will likely stay the foundation, so to speak, of her career.
That's definitely my goal, is to, at least in my lifetime, is to see stationery just kept alive.
You can't have one without the other.